These next two slides are examples of how hazing can occur and some of the more common instances you might hear about or potentially experience. Please note that these examples are not all inclusive and hazing can take place in many forms. So what is considered hazing? Actions that interfere with the academic process. Your organization should not prohibit you from participating fully in your academic experience. This means going to class, having enough time to complete assignments, and supporting you academically. Causes a member to violate UAB Student Code of Conduct, policies, and local and state laws. No organization should encourage any of their members to be violating any policies or laws or requiring them to do any actions that would lead them to violate policies or laws. Requires or pressures a member to consume or ingest alcohol, food items, non-food items, or liquids. You should not be asked or compelled to ingest anything. This does not just include alcohol, but also includes other items that could be gross or dangerous. Prevents a member from securing normal amounts of sleep. All human beings need to sleep. No organization should have meetings or events that go late and then also require you to be at early morning events, or don't excuse you from late events when you have an early morning commitment. Sleep deprivation from hazing has unfortunately led to many tragic consequences. Requires a member to perform personal services for any member, regardless of membership status. This situation may occur if a member is asked to clean the house or apartment of older members, buy them dinner, or do their laundry. One thing to remember is that hazing can happen to anyone, not just new members or interests. For example, an active member may be hazed if they are required to be designated drivers for other members as a consequence of an action the fraternity deemed out of line. Is sadistic, treats a member in a subhuman manner. All new members and interests are human beings and deserve to be treated with respect. Is illegal, including the use of drugs or alcohol or committing a crime such as stealing or vandalism. Similar to the bullet above, no organization should encourage any of their members to be violating laws or requiring them to do any actions that would lead them to violate laws.
Places a member in physical danger or in jeopardy of losing their life. No one should ever be doing anything that would cause anyone to intentionally be put in physical danger or could cause them to lose their life. Places severe emotional stress upon a member. Hazing is not always physical. It is psychological too. The new member or intake process should be a time of learning and meeting new people. It should not cause undue stress on anyone. Requires a member to be present at activities for unreasonable amounts of time. While joining a fraternity or a sorority is a time commitment, you should not be expected to be committing to anything unreasonable. You still need to have plenty of time to commit to academics, sleep, eat, bathe, visit friends and family, and do other things you enjoy. No organization, no matter how much you love it or want to be a member, should take away from any of your normal activities. Requires an unreasonable amount of time commitments per week to member activities. Similar to above, you should still be able to maintain your regular life outside of your organization. A typical amount of hours to commit to an organization weekly would be around 3 to 4. If you're in a leadership position or are planning for a big event, that number might be closer to 10. But if you are being asked to commit to more than that, that could be a red flag. Requires members to meet with or learn insignificant information about other members in order to be initiated, continue with the new member process, earn a leadership position, or other things. This is another example that shows that it isn't only new members or interests that can get hazed. You may be asked to learn about your local and national history, founders, values, etc. But no one should be asked to memorize the names of each of your active members' grandparents, or the first car they drove, or their favorite color. Knowing this information does not prove someone is a good member, and they should not be expected to know or memorize any information that is insignificant to the process. Again, this information is in no way all-inclusive. We could have 50 slides on examples and still not cover it all.
Please, if you have questions, ask. We are more than willing to have a conversation with you about your experience or how to help build brotherhood and sisterhood without the use of hazing activities.
If you ever do experience hazing or hear of hazing happening, please report it. We strive to make the UAB FSL community a safe place for everyone, and hazing has no place here. Listed here are ways you can report hazing. If you choose to report anonymously, please include all details because we cannot follow up with individuals who report anonymously.
Let's now talk about who is required to report hazing. You may think that only the person who experienced hazing is required to report. There are many more people involved that have a duty to report hazing in addition to the person who experienced it. The person who committed the hazing, the person who knew about it beforehand and did not stop, the person who heard about it after the fact, and the person who observed the hazing, regardless of whether or not they participated.
If you're wondering if some of the things you may experience could be considered hazing, we want you to ask yourself some of these questions to help you determine the answer. Am I doing anything illegal? Am I being asked to keep these activities a secret? Would we get in trouble if a UAB administrator walked past and saw us? Does my participation in this activity violate my values or those of this organization? Would I feel comfortable participating in this activity if my parents were watching? Are we humiliating anyone with this activity? Is this causing emotional or physical distress to myself or others? If a video of this activity were shared on social media or the news, would we get in trouble or feel terrible about it? If the answer to any of these questions is yes, please rethink the activity you are doing or your participation in the activity.
Finally, we also want to make sure you are aware of the consequences of false reporting. On this slide are both the UAB Student Code of Conduct policy and the Alabama state law. As you see in the pulled out sections, if your intent is to deceive or mislead, or you knowingly make a false report, you can be found in violation of UAB's policies and Alabama law. Making a false report is not funny, and reports should only be made with factual information.